Silence, everyone. Silence. Court is about to be in. Court is about to begin. Of course, took a while for the court to get set up. We would apologize, but this is the judicial system, and we don't apologize for shit in the judicial system. Okay. So if you would, yes, it is Vynn. If you would have order in the court today, yes. Your ears are about to get. All right, thank you. Hold on for a second. We'll also get the jurors in here. You know, also gonna there we go. There we go. Okay. Now, is everybody ready for court? Is everyone ready? We have the jurors here. I had you on Max. This was not an ASMR stream. This is not an ASMR stream. And then also, let's get this here. Good. All right. Nice and ready. Would everyone be adjourned? Everyone be adjourned. Members of this esteemed court, today I come to you begging for your judgment on a crime that has been committed today against the people of the world, against the world's greatest confectionery. You're thinking to yourself, Vynn, what's the world greatest confectionery? Isn't that a subjective view? Objection. You're wrong. See, everyone in this world has one thing and one thing only on their mind. Something that makes their childhood worth it. Something that no kid could go to a party without. If you say there's an event happening, there better be this thing there. What do you think? Huh? What do you think that every kid is waiting for on a fine birthday day? Correct. Cotton candy. Wait, that doesn't sound right. And that's because it's not right. This heinous crime against nature, this unlawful act that's being thrust upon the citizens of this world, and that is cotton candy cake. Can you stand for this injustice? I know, you're probably thinking, that can't exist, that's heresy, that's blasphemy, that's impossible. But jurors, I am not joking to you when I say that cake, the most sacred of birthday specialties, has been defiled. The modern day 2026 people have no heart. They have no soul. They have no conviction for what's right. What I'm about to show you is grotesque. Downright abhorrent. Absolutely tear-splitting. You're not ready. But I'll show it to you anyways. I had to make it smaller so that your eyes would not be despaired by what's in front of you. Do you see it? I present to you what they are calling cake. Not only is it not fluffy, not only is it not delicious, but they dared to put sprinkles on it. I know. Absolutely horrifying. Please, try not to faint. This abomination right here has been declared a cake. By who? The sellers. Excuse me. I know. Unfortunately, we are just beginning. For they do not just sell those cakes. They sell a variety of cakes. When you think about the traditional American cake, you think vanilla, you think chocolate, you think birthday cake. If you're untraditional, like some of us, you think red velvet. But who doth say blue raspberry, strawberry kiwi, lemonade, peach mango, watermelon, all in the name of cake? And not just in the name of cake, in the name of big basity. How dare they say this serves 12 people? I'm sorry. I need a minute to approach my counsel. She seems to be very upset. It is a grievous injury. Your Honor, are we for real? Be quiet before I hold you in contempt of court. But then, I know you can't see it, so allow me to step to the side. They have the audacity to declare that this is fat-free, with 11 grams of sugar and no protein, gluten-free, soy-free, nut-free, dairy-free, vegan. As I stand before you, I object to this being called a cake. This cotton candy confectionery cannot be going on. It is inhumane to the existence of cakes everywhere. And for $45, just go to a bakery. But that's not all, Your Honor. No, that is not all. For let me present to you Exhibit 2. I will give you a moment to rest your eyes and your heart. For I know this is a lot to take in. I hope that you've taken the moment to sincerely rest your heart. For what I'm about to show you is shocking to those with sensitive stomachs like myself. I present to you the meringue cake. And what if cotton candy shall be a cake? Why not then meringue? Why not then styrofoam? Why not then your mother with whipped cream on her? Do not be fooled by this. This is lemon meringue cake. And you think, what is the difference? Meringue cake features, in fact, no cake. Those layers, those crunchy, crispy layers that look fluffy, those are all meringue. The French dessert. There is nary a cake in this. Just meringue. If you look, you can see the separation where when they placed it and frosted it, the meringue could not hold up. What even is a cake, Your Honor? As defined by the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a cake is a bread-like food made from dough. Your Honor, does this look bread-like to you? No, rest your eyes upon this. Be indignant upon the sight of this butchering of cake. We have not even reached my worst one yet, Your Honor. The mentioning of your mother was valid in this case. I fear the prosecution stance. Thank you, Your Honor. As I continue on, the Merriam-Webster dictionary says that it is made from dough or batter. Is this made from dough or batter, Your Honor? Are these made from dough or batter, Your Honor? Not those. Those are not cotton candy cakes. These are cotton candy cakes. Forgive me, I will make it so that this is more visible for you. It's literally impossible, dude. Alright, yeah, that's fine. Next, that is usually fried or baked in a small flat shapes. Let's look at the second definition, just in case the Merriam-Webster's definitions can be, you know, perceived multiple ways. A sweet baked food. Well, that excludes this already. And as you will see later, it excludes the next thing as well. But this is still allowed. So let's see. Is this a cake? Made from dough. Well, meringues are whipped. That's something. Or thickened batter. Containing flour, sugar, and often shortenings, eggs, and a raising agent. Well, this has no flour. And it hardly has any sugar. A round mass of food that is break apart. Biscuit. Fine. Maybe, through some twist of definition, Exhibit B can be perceived as a cake. But what I'm about to show you next, cover the children's eyes. For what I am to show you next will shocken you. Not this. Not these. There we are. These. Dare I even say, not that that contains cake. These. I introduce you to the American jelly cake. Your Honor, does that look baked to you? It's served cold. And here I bring to you the root of my argument, Your Honor. How dare you say that? Indignant. The word cake is sacred. If you go to a party and you receive a slice of gelatin instead of cake, you would not be so happy. You would be confused. If I served you a platter of fruit smushed into a round shape and said, here's your cake, you should be indignant. We, as American citizens, have a right to know what is and is not cake before showing up at the function, Your Honor. And what of? You take your children to these parties to give them their well-deserved treat, to allow them to socialize, and they are served fruit and meat pudding? What? I'm sure that elicited some gas out of you, but gelatin is derived from meat. The gelatinous substance that is based off gelatin is a beef product. You go to a party and you want to be served fruit in meat? Your Honor, to call this a cake is the same thing as to make a pile of mashed potatoes, top it with gravy, slap a steak on it, and because it is round and cylindrical, or perhaps because the person put it in a cake pan, it is a cake. Cake should not be defined by the pan you put it in. Cake should be defined by the contents of its ingredients. To look at the outside and go, yes, that looks like a cake, therefore it is to deny the fact that sometimes things that look like a cake can be a lie. Your Honor, can't my husband be called cake? I would say so. No, it is flat. Therefore, it is a pancake. Silence. Your Honor, as you can see, the defense doesn't even have legitimate arguments. I come bearing proof. I come bearing realism. I come bearing hurt and pain and the suffering of many of people who believe that cake is not a shape. Cake is a delicious baked confectionery. We allowed the world to degenerate for too long. It started with the cookie cake. And we said, well, that's close enough to a cake, even though really it's just a cookie, the size of a cake. Then we said, ice cream cake. Yeah, that's a cake, even though it is ice cream, the size of a cake. sometimes including actual cake. But where do we draw the line, Your Honor? At what point do we go from delicious, baked, warm confectionery made to make your hearts and homes happy to a cold meat gelatin with fruit inside it? This is degeneracy, Your Honor. Your Honor, I would like to state that these do pass as cakes, and I can prove this by the existence of matrimonial cakes that do not require any traditional ingredients. Your Honor, the defense has brought into question matrimonial cakes. I have never heard of such a things. Your Honor, that's a brownie. Your Honor, Your Honor, that is a Nutri-Grain bar. Your Honor, Your Honor, that that's a fruit bar from Walmart. Your Honor, this cannot be allowed to stand in the courts. Surely, surely, this cannot be. Your Honor, does a Nutri-Grain bar count as a cake? Surely, Fig Newtons are not allowed. Your Honor, Your Honor, I do not mean to laugh. I do not mean to laugh at the defense. I just perceive the argument that because it is called a cake, it is therefore a cake. That is the point of my entire argument. Are these cakes then, Your Honor? Surely you jest. The sanctity of cakes must be upheld in this court. Surely we must be fair, Your Honor, and recognize that this is a crumble on top and a crumble on bottom. Sandwich, but they're oat date squares. Oat date. They are squares, Your Honor. They are. This is not a cake, Your Honor. Your Honor, my 34 mil. Am I the asshole? Your Honor, what point should we stop calling things cake that are not cake? We serve people Fig Newtons. We serve people Canadian oat date squares and call it cake. We serve people, well, technically this is a cake if it contains cake. If it does not contain cake, slabs of ice cream and call it cake. We serve people giant cookies and we call it cake. We serve people fruit and meat jelly and we call it cake. We serve people cotton candy and we call it cake. Where do we draw the line, Your Honor? We serve people meringue and we call it a cake. Surely these desserts have their own names. This is a giant cookie. This is ice cream. This is a date square. This is fruit gelatin. Forgive me. I served it off. Or we took it off. This is cotton candy. I accidentally said that. And this is a meringue. If you want to eat a sweet textured dessert, be it crunchy, fluffy, crispy, creamy, I don't know, ooey gooey, or gelatin on your birthday, that's fine, Your Honor. That's okay. Celebrating your birthday as you please is your right. But to use the name cake is to infringe upon the idea of a sanctity cake. According to B13 of the 35, according to B35 of the Cake and Confectionery Act of 1888, items that are referred to as cake before the year 1888 are and will always be cakes. So she is not allowed to disbar the matrimonial cakes. The name of an item and the classification of an item are allowed to be different. Let's take, for example, zebra cakes, a childhood snack beloved by all. You can call them cakes in the same way you can call cosmic brownies, but we both know that they're not cakes. They are a snack made to imitate cakes. For namesake only are they zebra cakes. In namesake only can they be matrimonial cakes. But this is not a cake, Your Honor. Objection, nah. Objection, Your Honor. Speculation. When classifying a dessert, it should be classified by its ingredient makeup, its textural subtext, and its traditional way of baking. These are not cakes, Your Honor. These are not cakes, Your Honor. These are not cakes, Your Honor. These are not cakes. Well, these are. This is not, Your Honor. This is not cake, Your Honor. This is not cake, Your Honor. And perhaps the most blasphemous thing I am going to say today, Your Honor. This is not a cake. It's a pie. Your Honor, according to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, they preside in a different jurisdiction, Your Honor. We cannot put their input into account, for they are French. French rules do not apply here. And also French isn't real. So France isn't real, so bleh. These are not cakes, Your Honor. We should draw the line somewhere. The namesake of cakes, the classification of cakes should be held true and honest. Can you imagine, for a second, take yourself out of the courtroom, out of your home, out into your local bakery. Pretend you do not know the names of these items. Go to your local baker and tell her, I am looking for a cake. Imagine she says to you, okay, well, yes, of course, we sell cakes here. What kind of cake would you like? And you go, is that a British accent? And she goes, never mind, I'm not from here. And you go to her and you say, I would like a traditional Midwestern jelly cake. And she goes, well, we sell jelly cakes. Can you describe this sort of jelly cake to me? And you tell her, the first layer of the cake is made of a gelatin. And it is opaque, creamy in look, almost. Solid in color. And she goes, okay. And you go, the second layer of the cake is gelatin. Made a little less opaque, less creamy in color. And she goes, okay. The third layer of the cake is gelatin. At this point, she looks at you wondering why you came to a baker. And she goes, okay. You go. Then there is a layer of fruit set inside gelatin, topped by another layer of gelatin. Do you think this baker would accept your request? No. Because you wouldn't go to a bakery for gelatin. Would you go into your local bakery and ask them to make meringue? You would. Of course. Because meringue is on the menu. But would you ask them to make you a Black Forest crunch cake? You would expect cake to be in that. But a Black Forest crunch cake is a meringue. And when the baker asks you to describe it, what do you say? You do not say it's a cake. You open with, it's a layer of meringue. Whipped topping. Or technically whipped cream in this case. Maybe some fruit, or in this case, chocolate shavings. Another layer of chocolate meringue. Whipped topping. Another layer of chocolate meringue. Your Honor, that's not. Where is the cake? Ah, yes, cheesecake. Cheesecake. Beloved by all. But it's a pie. It's not a cake. It's a crust with filling. The reason that they call it a cheesecake is because technically you would prepare it like a cake. But if you were to describe the process of making a cheesecake to a person who has never had a cheesecake before, you would start by saying, get a pie tin. My case would be rested there, but I'll continue on. You're going to want to make a crust or buy a pie crust. My point could be rested there, but I'll carry on. You're then going to want to beat together some eggs, cream cheese, milk, other ingredients. You're gonna pour it in, and you might bake it. Sometimes you don't have to. And that's the only similarity between that and cake. For when you pull it out, what have you made? Not a fluffy cake, a pie called cheesecake. But yet when it's sold in stores, we call it a cake. At what point do we stop to deceive ourselves? We go, if it is a cake, therefore, if they say it is a cake, it must be a cake. If it is deemed a cake for centuries and served like a cake, then eaten like a cake, well, by all means, Your Honor, it seems like it be a cake. But it's not served like a cake. It's served like a pie. Cotton candy cakes are not served like a cake. They are topped with sprinkles that fall off. Meringue cake is not particularly served like a cake. You have to cut it differently. And trying to eat it, well, a fork will not really work. It's best eaten grabbed. Matrimonial cake is served with a pie slicer. Cookie cake is eaten with your hands, and ice cream cake is eaten with a spoon. the evidence in the room with us on how to bake a cheesecake? I'm sorry. the It seems like it'd be a cake because it's called a cake. Well, if I call having people in my basement a sleepover, then it seems like it's a sleepover. If I call kissing my my audience, who is also my big brother, younger brother, father, mother, son, cousin, grandson, platonic, then it is not incest. To say that it is something and then declare, well, because I said it is, then it is, when the classification of an item exists, is to deny logic in favor of comfortability. If I served you tofu cut like a rib and put barbecue sauce on it, would you accept it as a rib? Yes, they have misnamed things. Look at cotton candy cakes. That is just cotton candy. There's no cake preparation. It's not made like a cake. It's not sliced like a cake. It's not eaten like a cake. It's not a cake by all purposes. But because they named it a cake, it's a cake. Jello cake is a traditional dish made from the 1920s. No cake involved, all gelatin. Gelatin in a coffer. And suddenly, it's a cake. Your Honor, it's okay for not everything to be a cake. If we go off calling everything a cake just because it is shaped like a cake, then should we not call flan a cake? Huh? Coffee jelly. Is that not a cake? Traditional Japanese pudding. Is that not a cake? Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? The classification of cake should be sacred. It should be eaten and named and loved properly. The origins of cake can trace their roots all the way back to Egypt. Therefore, Your Honor, I think we should move for retrial with an all Egyptian jury. Objection. The original makers of the cake are dead, and now cake is a universal item. Therefore, a trial in the American tort by the American people and some Scandinavian people can be perfectly lawfully standard. Motion for recess? Motion accepted. Let's have a short recess and then we will move back over. Ah, I didn't expect for you guys to fight so hard against the notion that everything should be called cake. You guys are so firm standing. I wasn't expecting that. So passionate about it, really. Oh, it's okay. You guys are not able to beat me. So, it's alright. Wait, we weren't? We're supposed to be against you? No. Not at all. You guys were supposed to not be against me, actually. But somehow, you guys have started acting as the defense, and I have no words. I have no words whatsoever. Listen, I'm just a public defender. I'm just doing my job, guys. I'm just doing my job. I'm just putting my now defunct law NALS accreditation to use. You're supposed to purposely take the L. You don't have to purposely take the L. I feel like my case is actually very firm. Like my case stands on its own. Actually, it wasn't supposed to be that serious. Actually, and it isn't that serious in my heart and soul. But like my case actually does stand. Like it actually has a good point. Like cheesecake is made in a pie tin. Meringue cake is not even a cake. It's a meringue. Gelatin cake has no traditional cake ingredients. The thing that you showed us earlier was literally just a like pie fig Newton thing. Like my case is strong. I don't need you guys to throw the match for me. I don't pick my battles. I just fight them as a fake lawyer. I mean, justice has to be blind, so even if I don't want to defend these cakes, I have to. I mean, you don't have to, but if you take it upon yourself to do it, then I support you. You definitely cooking out there. That's what I'm saying. Try you guys being like, oh, you know, you gotta let her win. Let me win how? I have a firm argument. I have a very firm argument. Wait, we did this pro bono? I have bills to pay. I'm representing myself in court, so I don't know why you guys are. So when can we call witnesses to the stand? No witnesses. What the fuck? This is not a court. This is not a criminal court. This would be more of a civil thing. So. Closed court, no witnesses. I'm well hydrated. What? Do you guys think you can't win against me unless you have witnesses? You need somebody to witness you losing this battle? How embarrassing. If there's one thing a girl can do, she can definitely argue. So. You don't want this smoke. I'm gonna tell you that now. I meant to charge my other phone earlier. Psst, Judge, if you take this money, bribery in a court of law? That's illegal. That's illegal. That's it. You're going to jail. I'm putting on the slammers. I hold you in contempt of court. Automatic dismissal of the defendant. Prosecution wins. Yo, it's called under the table for a reason. It doesn't work when, you're trying to you're trying to bribe the judge, but the judge is also the prosecution, is also the plaintiff, Anyways, let me give you a kiss. Mwah. Thanks for trying. I just have my closing statement left, I'm feeling really confident right now. I don't think you guys are ready for my closing statement. No, if I get disbarred, then it's a retrial, therefore the prosecution can't win. At least today. No, I'm sorry. You're only a member of the defendant's team. Technically, we still have another lawyer on the stand to defend. But, and the defense is saying that you're not a part of their original team. So technically, you just walked into the court pro bono and added yourself as a third plaintiff here. So, sorry. No mistrials today. No mistrials today. Uh-oh. You guys tried. I hope you're getting ready for your closing statements. I have my closing statement ready. And my impact statement, which I was supposed to give. No, I have to give it after the trial, actually. So, we're about to close up this court case. I hope you're ready. 3 more minutes to figure out your closing statement since you want to oppose me so bad. I'm feeling pretty smug right now. Feeling a little, I'm feeling really intolerant right now. No, that's a little shot. Whose fault's that? I wouldn't be throwing if you weren't caught bribing. Oh, how interesting. Now I get to watch the defense eat themselves up. Brings me joy. While we're here, I think at 6, aiming for 6 today, we will be watching another Your Money and Your Wet Lips. Hey, I kinda like his wet lips. Stake out. 6 today, we'll be watching a movie again, so this stream will probably be a little shorter. Yep, another movie night. Another movie night. Vynn is using the art of war on us. If I don't use what little, debative skills I learned when going through all of those legal classes in high school, I will never use them for anything else. I really want my former teacher to be proud of me as I fight this hypothetical argument on the internet. She was such a good teacher too. She was so nice. True story, by the way. 3 years of law classes, knowledge accreditation, 4 years of medical classes. You would not believe how bad the burnout was. High school, it was really bad, actually. Well, do you have any final words before we head back into the court? That's a joke. You're in the past. By the time you finish out your final statements, it'll likely be time for court to reconvene. Just know that I'm not doing this because I don't love you. I'm doing this because I respect the sanctity of cake. You use ChatGPT? Hell no. Hell no. I ain't used ChatGPT in my last 23 years of academic endeavors. I ain't starting today. I have always been a self-achiever. I don't need nobody to do it for me. Let's go back to court. Your Honor, now that the court is back in session, I would like to make my closing statement. Your Honor, this is not a cake. It's a pie. This is not a cake. It's a meringue. This is not a cake. It's cotton candy. This is not a cake. It's a square. This is not a cake. It's ice cream. This is not a cake. It's cookie. This is not a cake. It's jelly. Your Honor, cake has been an enjoyed treat by children, by adults, by families, for birthdays, for weddings, for bachelorette parties, for anniversaries, for centuries. People everywhere love cake. People everywhere want to celebrate. People everywhere want to feel special. And people deserve to find the dessert that they're looking for when they go looking. People deserve to eat what they're expecting to eat at these events. And people deserve the truth when they're ordering something. Cake is not just a confectionery. Cake is an experience. Cake is a memory. Cake is a comfort. Cake is an occasion. And to defile the name of a cake, to take not even the premise of a cake and decide that it is shaped, or it contains some ingredients, or it's similarly, I guess, baked. It's also baked. And say, well, I want to be able to call this a cake because I made it and I like the idea of it being a cake, is to defy everything that we not only know about cake, but it is to deny ourselves the memories that have been built upon cake. It is to deny ourselves the cherished feelings that come with cake. It is to deny ourselves the one guilty pleasure in life, the enjoyment in events, the memories of our childhood. Your Honor, cake is a dessert in itself. It does not need all these stipulations, but if, but and, but put onto it. We should classify cake for what it is and not for what we wish it to be. I implore the court to uphold cake. I implore this court to give back the American people its guilty pleasure dessert. Your Honor, we wouldn't go to AI MILFs. Your Honor, I'm switching sides. Cake is cake with that. Cake is cake. And math, and like math, there's no reason to change that. Your Honor, the definition of cake is an item of soft, sweet food made from a mixture of flour, sugar, shortening, eggs, sugar, and other ingredients, and baked and often decorated. Therefore, she isn't 100% right. How did you just agree with me? One, I got several. Your Honor, this is a Wendy's. We're definitely losing money in this case. Your Honor, I just want to say, bailiff, bailiff, get that man out of the court. Well, Miss Shade and Vinsomniacs, in this case of Ventral V Shade versus the People's Confectionery Company, we have to say we rule in the favor. Let's see. Jury's verdict is in. Would you like to read it first, juror? Yes, ma'am. I would love to. We the people find Ventral V Shades for guilty. We the people stand with Ventral V Shade on this matter. Woo, 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 woo. Don't ask me why they have school at night in the background of the court case, but bravo, bravo, bravo. I would say good fighting with you, but if I'm being honest, oh wait, your closing statement, my statement. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I thought your closing statement was the previous statement. Give me a second. Give us your closing statement. Here, I'll give my witness impact while I wait on your properly formed closing statement. Cake has meant a lot to me for my whole life. I love cake. I know what you're thinking. That's a big back thing to say, but as a kid who grew up without a lot of things in my life, I remember one of my fondest memories was that as a young child, my family managed to rent out one of the rooms in a movie theater, and we had a cake, and everyone I loved was there, and we all got to eat a slice of cake. Or one year we had a birthday party in the backyard, and I got to have this cake of my dreams. In high school, right before I graduated, because my birthday's in May, my family brought me a cake that was supposed to be my graduation and birthday cake. It was a cake, a chocolate cake with a cookie layer, more chocolate cake, and a bunch of like chocolate ganache and whipped cream and cookies on top. And they said to me, "We love you." And this cake was the thing that made us think of you. And we thought you'd love it, so we bought it. And I remember sitting there and eating with my family this cake. It was rich, it was delicious, and everybody was laughing and we were having a good time. And some family friends came over and we all just sat around and we had a good day. And that was one of my fondest memories from high school and my last fond memory with my family. Cake is everything. Objection, she's using her attentive appeal. I'm afraid to tell you that an impact statement is not actually used during a court case, but is used after a court case to describe how a victim feels and how they feel knowing the court has upheld their wishes, you know. And with the court upholding my wishes that cake should be defined under a specific argument, it means the world to me, because to me cake is sacred and cake means a lot to me. Now to hear your statement. The People's Confectionery Committee, the PCC, but PCC also stands for post. This was an attempt at brain control, Your Honor. Objection, she's off her meds. You guys are saying this after the verdict, and also you lost the case. You guys are starting to sound like the ones off their meds. I'm so sorry to hear that for you guys, but GG is my victory, so L's in the chat. My name should be Ventril. Because I don't have no L's. I hope you enjoyed this really short kind of interesting stream. Hope you like it. I will be streaming again in about an hour 30 minutes, so don't worry if you didn't see me the first time. You'll get to see me again in a minute when I yap with you and pick a movie and we watch a movie together until like 9 p.m. Yeah, that's right, you'll get 3 more hours of Vynn for a total of 4 hours of Vynn. I'll give you your kisses. Mwah. I'll say that we know this Win will say because she be winning. I'll say that I love you. Mwah. And I'll lick you. And I'll see you in an hour and a half. And if I don't see you in an hour and a half, just know that I appreciate you being here right now. I value you. And it was oh so nice to see you. And I'll see you again later. Bye. You